As far as I'm concerned, if you left your box like that, that's like building a window without a lintel. You've got to cap it, okay? So, to do that, it's very simple. Sorry, I'll just shut this door to keep the dust in here. It's all right. I don't mind putting a bit of dust in here when it's dirty, because all the dust will fall on the dust, the fiberglass dust. So, it's okay. So what you do, you grab your sander, and just sand this down. You sand it till it goes like that. There you go. Look for that point, then do each side. Right, so that's sanded down. Sorry, pick that up. That's sanded down. Now I'll blow it down. Okay, I just got to get a blade. Because the plastic melts, you have a little lip that goes in here. You just trim that off. See here? See that? Just go like that. Trim it off. Get it all nice and neat. And then you just scrape the blade on top. And that gets rid of any lip. And blow it out again. Now, so now I'm going to cap it. Now remember, if you get a surfboard made and they do not cap the box, they leave that there to crack, you should take it back and ask for a refund. Because it's the dodgiest way you can make a surfboard, okay? It's just so dodgy. I don't know why, but every surfboard maker in Newcastle caps their boxes. I don't know why we do it, but it's just the way it's done. Sorry. Yeah, it's just the way it's done in Newcastle. Get my blade, so push that down. It's very simple this, it's not even hard, a monkey can do it. But as I say, I always tell the story. I had a contract, well not a contract, I had an offer of some work. You know, it wasn't that serious, you just paid, do the work, get paid. But I got offered you know, a couple hundred boards, and they were going to get glassed in Sydney. Anyway, we went and seen the glasser, and he said he's not going to cap the boxes. Sorry, I normally do that with this. He said he refused to cap the boxes, so I said no to the contract. So just to show you how strongly I feel about it, times $150 by 200. So sometimes you got to put your money where your mouth is, and I did. I'm glad I didn't take the contract with that company anyway. I don't deal with people. Oh, fucking hell. So there you go, the place. But sometimes the tape stuff's up, okay? Yeah, I've got to do it again. But that's not the end of the world, okay? We're only using cheap sticky tape. I'll do that again. But yeah, so he said he's not going to cap it. And I said, well, I'm not going to do the glass job. So he missed out on a fair bit. Glass jobs are worth like 500 a board. So he times that by 200 and you'll get an idea on how much money he missed out on. Right, let's try that again. Yeah, so don't ever not do it. And I put my money where my mouth is. I said no to it, but they couldn't believe that I did. But when you realise that these bigger companies rely on the little guy, most big companies are fucking hopeless. They can't even make boards anymore. The original guy could. Most of the guys that run it can't glass, can't shape. They rely on contracting out the smaller guys. And once people realise their worth, I did early on, and I went, fuck you, if you can't do it, I'm not going to make you look better than what you are. And that's what it is. They're checkbook board makers. Checkbook board makers do not make surfboards. They write out checks to have other people like me and other board makers make their boards. And once you realise you're making these guys look better than what they are, because they try and convince you that you need them. But that, I'll tell you a little story. I knew this guy years ago, and he was making his own boards, and he was starting to get a good clientele, you know, a few people. And if he would have stuck it out for a couple of more years, he would have had his own clients, been able to do everything his own way, and he got conned by a bigger company. Come and make our boards, we'll give you plenty of work. What he doesn't realise, the day they want to get rid of him, he'll be gone and left with nothing. He should have stayed building up his own label. Never work for these big companies, okay? Most of these big companies can't make surfboards. They rely on people to make them for them, which means you're just like any other fucking dickhead. A lot of people say, oh no, that's not true, and I say it is. I'd never buy a board off someone that can't make surfboards, but people do it all day long. They're checkbook board makers. They get their shit made in China or Thailand. A proper board maker makes everything from start to finish himself. That's a board maker. That's what I want to class myself as, not a shaper. I never want to lower myself to being called a shaper. Okay? A lot of people go, oh, I don't get ya. But it's true. If you're a board maker, it means you can make everything. You can make fins, you can make fucking everything. But that company got a shock when I knocked back the contract and said, see you later. Don't need you. You need me, I don't need you. They don't like that, but fuck them. I've got no time for companies that don't make surfboards. As far as I'm concerned, they're the biggest hoaxes in our surfboard industry. Yeah, can't stand them. Checkbook board makers, that's what they call them. Who'd get a surfboard made off someone that doesn't make it? I mean, you'd have to be a dickhead. Seriously. Like, unless it's just like buying a can of Coca-Cola. If you're that into buying a brand, hey, I'm going to buy Coca-Cola. It's made in China. Well, no, I don't think it is made in China, sorry. No, that's Russia that banned Coca-Cola. Might be made in China. But yeah, there's so many hoax board makers out there. And it's some of the biggest labels in the world. And they can't even make surfboards. They pay people to make surfboards. Never understood that. That's why, one of the things I'm proud of, every Peter surfboard that I've made since I started, I've done all the work on. I've never paid anyone else to do anything on it. And I'm going to be pushing that soon. I'm going to do a video on it, talking about, have you got a fake label? Because it really is pretty shocking the amount of pseudo board makers there are out there. That's why I happily help people to make boards, because I don't want pseudo board makers out there. I want proper surfboard makers that actually make surfboards, not pay someone. Righto, this makes everything perfectly clear. Because I'm setting it off hot, it cannot totally wet out if you don't do this with the roller. Okay, now that's perfectly wet out. I'll get rid of this excess. Clean my roller. Now I'll be sanding this in a couple of hours. Finish coating. And then I will be stoked. Righto, see, now you see how around the box, it's even, see where I push the cable tie down each side, see how it's perfect? That's why you use the cable tie method. Now, I'm just going to, now, dust is nearly clear. Bit of filler coat over this, and I'm going to go in and have a cuppa. Bit of hardener. Little squirt of wax. This becomes filler resin. Now mix this up. This will take a little while to go off. I'm just mixing it up now so it goes off soon after I put it on. The reason I talk about that pseudo board makers is when I used to surf and surf regularly, I was never a big wave surfer. Now, I never claimed to be able to surf 10-foot waves or anything like that. I was open about, nah, my limit was 4 foot, that's all I like, small waves. Now, there's so many board makers out there claiming to be board makers when they're not. I hate that shit. I know the soldiers call it stolen valor. And it is. It's claiming you can do something you can't. Really gets my goat. That's why I think we should be more transparent with more shaping competitions to actually see who the top board makers are in the world and who the hoaxers are. I'll be happy to go in those comps. Right, look at that. That looks beautiful. Natalie's going to be pumped. Stoked with this. I did a 6 and 4 on the bottom just to give it a touch more strength. Sorry, an 8 and a 4, 7.5 and a 4 on the bottom, just because it's so thin. Try and keep it in one piece. So I'm just waiting for this to gel. Righto, that's gelled. Now put my filler coat on. There we go. A little bit round here. A little bit round there. There we go. Beautiful. That'll be ready to sand in an hour and a half, 2 hours. Then I'll finish coat it. Done. Now, turn everything off. I don't need this on anymore. It sucked the dust up. As I say, I'm going to be profiling today. Turn the aircon back on. Righto, that'll do. I'll be back.